Your heart doesn't suddenly fail one day. It ages quietly, slowly, often without symptoms, until something changes your life overnight. And here's the uncomfortable question most people never ask themselves. What if your heart isn't aging just because of time, but because something inside your own DNA is actively pushing it there? For years, we were told heart aging was inevitable. Genetics, wear and tear, bad luck. But what if that belief is outdated? What if scientists have just uncovered a hidden biological switch? Something that accelerates heart aging behind the scenes without you feeling a thing? And what if understanding this could change how you think about longevity, health span, and aging well after 50? If you care about staying strong, mobile, and independent, not just alive, this matters. Because this isn't about extreme biohacking and miracle cures. It's about understanding what's silently shaping your heart and how that knowledge can help you make smarter decisions today that protect your quality of life tomorrow. Here's a truth most people don't like to face. Aging itself is the single biggest risk factor for heart disease. Not cholesterol alone, not genetics alone. Time. As the years go by, the heart quietly changes. It stiffens, it loses flexibility, and it doesn't respond the way it once did. That's why cardiovascular disease remains the leading cause of death worldwide. For anyone thinking about longevity and health span, this isn't abstract science. It's deeply personal. As you age, heart cells gradually lose their ability to repair themselves efficiently. Scar tissue, known as fibrosis, begins to replace healthy, flexible tissue. The heart becomes less elastic, less responsive, and more vulnerable to rhythm disturbances and failure. You might notice it first as fatigue, shortness of breath, or reduced exercise tolerance. That's not just getting older. It's the biology of aging at work, and it directly impacts quality of life and independence. For decades, the dominant belief was simple and discouraging. Heart aging was inevitable. You slow down, your heart slows down, end of story. But modern evidence-based health research is challenging that assumption. Scientists studying healthy aging and functional fitness are discovering that cardiac aging isn't as fixed as we once believed. In fact, the heart appears more adaptable, more trainable than previously thought, especially when we look beneath the surface at what's happening inside cells. This shift in understanding matters because it reframes the entire conversation about aging well. If heart aging is partly flexible, then lifestyle, movement, and biological regulation suddenly matter even more. Strength after 50, mobility, balance, and cardiovascular resilience stop being nice extras and become central pillars of independence. And just beneath this realization lies a deeper, unexpected mechanism, something hidden in our DNA that may be quietly driving the aging process itself. Deep inside your DNA, there are sequences that don't behave the way we once expected. They copy themselves, they move, they reinsert into new locations. Scientists call them retrotransposons, but most people know them by a far more unsettling name, jumping genes. For decades, these sequences were dismissed as junk DNA, harmless leftovers. Turns out, they were anything but harmless, especially when it comes to aging and longevity. The most active of these jumping genes in humans is called line 1. When you're young, line 1 activity is tightly controlled, almost like a well-trained dog on a short leash. But as we age, that leash starts to loosen. Recent research published in Nature Aging revealed that line 1 becomes increasingly active inside heart cells over time. And that's where things start to go wrong for health span, mobility, and long-term heart function. When line 1 wakes up, it creates genomic instability, essentially microscopic chaos inside the cell. DNA gets damaged, inflammatory signals increase, and normal cellular communication starts breaking down. In heart tissue, this leads directly to fibrosis, stiffness, and impaired function. It's not just a marker of aging, it's an active driver. In other words, your heart isn't aging around line 1 activity, it's aging because of it. This discovery flips a long-standing assumption on its head. Aging isn't just wear and tear from the outside world. Part of it is coming from within your own genome. That realization opens a powerful door. If something is driving damage, then maybe it can also be slowed, or even silenced. And that's exactly where this story takes a sharp turn toward hope. Here's where the story takes a turn most people never see coming. Scientists didn't just observe line 1 causing damage, they tried turning it off. And when they did, something remarkable happened. In experimental models, blocking line 1 activity didn't just slow aging markers, it actively reduced cellular damage. For the first time, heart aging looked less like a one-way street and more like a process that could be influenced. Using genetic and pharmacological approaches, researchers were able to silence these jumping genes inside aging heart cells. Inflammation dropped, DNA damage decreased. Even more striking, cardiac function improved. The heart tissue became less stiff, more resilient, and better organized. This wasn't cosmetic improvement, it was functional. The kind that matters for mobility, balance, and independence as you age. This is a critical distinction in evidence-based health. Line 1 isn't just a passive signal of aging like gray hair or wrinkles. It behaves more like a switch. When it's overactive, damage accelerates. When it's controlled, the system stabilizes. That reframes heart aging from an inevitable decline into a biological process with leverage points, something modern longevity science has been searching for. Of course, this doesn't mean there's a pill available tomorrow, but it does mean researchers have identified a legitimate therapeutic target, a new direction, one that connects basic genetics directly to healthy aging and quality of life.
Good catch. You're so strong.
And once a mechanism is identified, the next question becomes unavoidable. What does this mean for real humans living real lives right now? If this science translates safely to humans, the implications are enormous. We're not just talking about living longer. We're talking about protecting health span. Age-related heart conditions like heart failure and arrhythmias don't just shorten life, they steal independence. They limit mobility, reduce exercise tolerance, and quietly shrink daily freedom. A heart that ages more slowly supports balance, functional fitness, and the ability to stay active well into later decades. What makes this discovery so powerful is that it targets the process of aging, not just the symptoms. Instead of managing decline after it appears, the idea is to intervene upstream before stiffness, scarring, and dysfunction become permanent. That's a major shift in evidence-based health thinking. It aligns perfectly with the goal of aging well, maintaining strength after 50, preserving cardiovascular capacity, and extending quality of life without extreme interventions. Imagine a future where cardiac aging is no longer accepted as unavoidable, where slowing biological wear becomes part of preventive care, just like exercise and nutrition are today. This doesn't mean chasing youth or unrealistic biohacking fantasies. It means protecting function. A heart that stays flexible longer supports walking endurance, safer workouts, better recovery, and the confidence to move without fear, all pillars of independence. But here's the grounding reality. Science moves carefully, and translation takes time. The real power, right now, lies in understanding what accelerates or slows these mechanisms. Because while researchers work on targeted therapies, everyday choices still shape the internal environment of your cells. And that leads directly to the question that matters most. What can you actually do today to influence this process? Here's the empowering part most people overlook. Line 1 activity doesn't happen in a vacuum. Research suggests that oxidative stress, chronic inflammation, and accumulated DNA damage all act like fuel for these jumping genes. In other words, the internal environment you create every day matters. Longevity isn't just written in your DNA. It's shaped by how aggressively or gently you treat your biology over time. Take inflammation, for example. Chronic low-grade inflammation is common as we age, especially with poor sleep, sedentary habits, and ultra-processed diets. That inflammatory background doesn't just affect joints or arteries. It reaches deep into the cell nucleus. Anti-inflammatory eating patterns like prioritizing colorful vegetables, omega-3 rich fish, olive oil, and adequate protein aren't trends. They're practical tools for healthy aging and genomic stability. Movement plays a similar role. Regular, moderate exercise reduces oxidative stress and improves DNA repair mechanisms. This doesn't mean punishing workouts. Walking with purpose, strength training 2 to 3 times per week, and gentle cardiovascular conditioning all support functional fitness. For someone focused on strength after 50, mobility, and balance, this kind of training protects the heart without overstressing it, a key principle of evidence-based health. Sleep and stress management complete the picture. Deep sleep is when cellular repair happens. Chronic stress, on the other hand, accelerates biological wear. Simple practices, consistent sleep schedules, short evening walks, breath work, or even limiting late-night screen time can shift this balance. And if you're looking for a structured, science-backed way to organize these habits into a system, that's exactly what the longevity protocol was designed to help you do. Without hype, just clarity. All of this sets the stage for one final, crucial realization about your heart and your future. Here's the quiet shift that changes everything. Heart aging is no longer just something that happens to you. It's something you can influence. The idea of slowing and potentially reversing aspects of cardiac aging by targeting mechanisms like line 1 reframes longevity as an active process. Not a fight against time, but a smarter relationship with biology, one that prioritizes function, resilience, and long-term quality of life. This isn't about chasing youth or extreme biohacking. It's about staying capable. A heart that remains flexible supports better mobility, safer exercise, and daily confidence. It allows you to walk farther, recover faster, and move without hesitation. That's the kind of aging well that actually matters. Strength after 50, balance, and functional fitness all rest on the foundation of cardiovascular health. And that foundation is more adaptable than we once believed. Understanding what's happening inside your cells gives you leverage. When you know that inflammation, stress, and inactivity quietly accelerate aging, your daily decisions gain new meaning. That evening walk, that strength session, that earlier bedtime, they're no longer habits, they're investments. And when those investments are guided by evidence-based health principles, they compound over time in ways most people never experience. The future of longevity won't belong to shortcuts or miracle claims. It will belong to those who understand the process and act consistently. Your goal isn't to look younger, it's to live stronger, think clearer, and remain independent longer. And the more you understand your heart, the more control you gain over the years ahead. Your goal isn't youth, it's independence. Now comes the part most people skip. Action. Knowing that your heart doesn't age randomly changes everything. It means your daily choices aren't small. They're signals. Movement, sleep, nutrition, stress management. They all shape the internal environment that either accelerates aging or slows it down. Longevity isn't built in labs alone. It's built in ordinary days, repeated consistently. So ask yourself, are your habits protecting your heart or quietly wearing it down? This science marks the beginning of a new era in healthy aging, one where we stop reacting to decline and start influencing the process itself. But information without application does nothing. If this video challenged how you think about aging, then the next step is learning how lifestyle and genetics actually interact, because understanding hidden mechanisms like jumping genes is powerful. But knowing how your daily behavior turns genes on or off is even more important. That's why I want you to watch the next video on your screen. Genetics versus lifestyle, why your DNA may control up to 55% of your life expectancy, new study. This video explains exactly how much control you really have and what to do with it. And if you want a clear, evidence-based roadmap to put all of this into practice, the longevity protocol breaks it down step by step. Check the link in the pinned comment, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and keep learning how to age better, stronger, smarter, and more independent.